I like this. As a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh growing up, this is kind of cool. Cool that you can actually get down and look at things too. Yeah, I like this a lot more than if you played this with, you know, computer.
We're here with David from the Final Precursor. If you remember when we had a Valve Index years ago to test, that was thanks to David here. David, you want to tell them a little bit about your channel?
I cover mostly retro for the most part, some modern stuff, some VR, kind of just scattershot most of it.
A little bit of everything, a lot of handheld stuff, and you actually know, you have like one of the biggest games collection I think I've ever seen in person. Well, we're here to check out the Quest Pro because David uses pretty much Valve Index all the time, full time when he does VR. Basically now we're gonna let him check out the Quest Pro and see what a Valve Index user thinks about it. Start feeling it out, tell us what you think as you mess with it.
How do you put it on? Because I'm used to like having to pull it apart.
You gotta figure it all out. So there's one knob here, but weirdly, kind of like the PSVR, there's a little bit of like flex, so like if you have it set to the right setting, you're supposed to be able to just pull it on and off, put it on your head. So the whole idea of a Quest Pro is it's supposed to be mostly for businesses, and it's supposed to be something that you can flip on and off really quickly. You pull it up, put it on, check out something, 3D modeling, put it back down on the charger.
Yeah, but the glasses is not very good though, because I hit my glasses immediately.
So keep it there. So this is pushing the lenses out from your face a little bit. So it's supposed to be able to accommodate glasses, ideally. You've used an Index, which is strapped to your face. Index is not like a halo at all. It is on you and it's not going anywhere.
This feels more top heavy. Like I feel like if I look up too fast, it's gonna just fall right off.
Give it a try. Flip it up.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It moved a little bit though.
I took grips off. I've made these just the way they come. So you'll feel them just totally stock. Always use your wrist straps, kids.
I don't usually, but okay. Also, that's cool that they actually show the controllers rather than usually there's just like a generic like image instead of the actual controller.
See us?
So, yeah, the color is kind of off, like my fingertips are gray.
So an interesting thing they did here, it's still using black and white cameras. It has one color camera that is then recoloring the image of everything you see. So you're not seeing color camera pass through, you are seeing black and white pass through, then recolored through it, which is interesting. They say it's easier to make stereoscopic vision that way. Do you use Valve Index pass through much?
I think I've used it when I first got it. Other than that, I don't. I just take the headset off.
How are you feeling about all the gap around the headset?
That's not great. I can see you right now by looking this way. So it gets kind of distracting, especially with you sitting there moving. Like it's very distracting to see that.
I'm gonna move the desk out of the way a little bit, and I'm gonna switch you chairs here so you can hop over to this chair. And then that way you'll be able to turn away from the light, kind of look around the room, tell us what you're experiencing.
That sword is very bright.
This is a problem that we're gonna have with any kind of pass-through cameras, tend to get blowout, especially if we go outside in the sunlight. And so light is a big problem.
Yeah, your entire be your right side.
The side with the light.
Gone. Yeah.
I'm gonna slip their stock covers that are included. This is not the full-on cover system. I'm gonna try and do this without messing you up here too bad, but I may have to. And there's the other. They're just magnetic. You can kind of push them around till they feel right. So these are the included light blockers that come with the headset. You can pay 50 bucks for a full facial cover that's supposed to block more.
Yeah, I can tell you already, glasses are not friendly with it.
Yeah, that's where I think with glasses, I almost feel like I would just deal with seeing the stuff. Although I found once I got used to seeing the peripheral vision around me, it wasn't as bad. It took a minute, because at first I was like, why am I seeing everything? But once you got used to it, it didn't distract me as much.
Is the one you can buy separately, is that like bigger?
Yeah, so it covers like all around, although I really didn't like it because it wouldn't go on the charging dock with it on, so I had to take it off every time.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of annoying. This definitely helps, especially with the lights.
So we're gonna turn the lights off, because normally in a play space, you wouldn't have this much light directly in your face. So let's see if that changes your experience at all.
Yeah, that's much better, but like you look normal now.
Well, you've gotten some of the real basic pass-through experience. At this point, we'll head over, we'll give you some games, some stuff to try out, like the eye tracking and stuff too, so you can really get the full experience. But so far, how are you feeling just as far as technology goes? What does this make you think?
I think for the most part, the pass-through is a lot better. I think that they have work to do if it is like a latency thing that they can improve on.
Well, as a first test to see how well the pass-through is gonna work for you, we're gonna head back to the other studio and go game, but you're gonna navigate there with the headset on the whole way. So just keep it on from here on.
Ooh, it did not like that. That's the Guardian.
How you feel? Could this be your everyday?
No. Like driving, that was the first thing that popped in my head when I saw my car. It was the driving with this would be nightmare. Kind of looks like you're underwater almost, because it's like waving. Yeah, I don't know how you did this for 10 days with like...
Well, that was in the Quest too. That was the terrible amount of grayscale everything.
I felt like I was gonna hit the car because I couldn't figure out where they actually were. The pad, I feel like it's the same as the PlayStation VR, at least the first one. Hopefully the second one will be better, where the top of my head just starts hurting because of that. I feel the view is a little narrow, but that might be also with the lenses being farther away. And that would be something if it was actually my headset, just get it to the right distance away from my glasses. I haven't played Beat Saber in a bit. Definitely better than the Quest 2. Because I miss notes on that constantly. It seems a lot more responsive, but a lot of my issues were down, like how I keep my arms lower, where the Quest 2 would lose it, and I believe these are self-tracked, so it seems like they're handling it a lot better if I leave them outside of the headset's view.
This game I'm about to put you in uses eye tracking for foveated rendering, so it's gonna make it look better wherever your eyes are actually looking, but because of that, it needs exact eye adjustment. So when I put it on your head, it's probably gonna ask you to start fitment adjustment. So it's gonna tell you, it may tell you to move the back up or down, it may tell you to mess with this knob. It's gonna help you get it there though.
I can't believe it worked. Sasha? Is that you?
This isn't that bad in comparison to the Quest 2 or the Valve Index. Yeah, I'm not saying the foveated rendering as much as it's shown in like demos, which I've never actually played a game with that, so.
Well, ideally, it's tuning it to your eyes when your eyes move, so you shouldn't be able to see it. That's the key.
It doesn't look like visually that different from any other VR game though. It's one of those that's not, it looks better, but it's not like remarkably better. Index, probably, it feels less smooth. I don't know if that's just in my head or not. I played the Index at the 144. That's a little bit better, less shimmering things that I can see, like this spacesuit that I'm looking at right now is kind of shimmering.
How about screen door effect? Can you find it there like you can on the Index?
Not really.
Is it something you notice on the Index? Is it something you've learned to not look for?
I noticed on the Quest 2. I noticed it less on the Index. It's a very small amount on the Index. It's usually motion. It's usually like I'm walking around in the space station now. And usually you can tell, and I can't really, like it doesn't look as bad.
Variation of color in the screen, what do you think? The darks, the lights?
That's actually quite nice. Like I'm looking at the Earth in space. Yeah, that looks really good. I don't know if this has HDR, but that looks similar to HDR. Okay, so I've never played this. I like this. As a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh growing up, this is kind of cool. The actual board is actually really cool. Cool that you can actually get down and look at things too. Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, I like the little figurines. That's a lot of detail on them. Yeah, I like this a lot more than if you played this with, computer. This is probably how I would play a digital board game. I like the amount of detail that they put into it. I'd love to see this as like a Diablo style game as well. That would be really cool. Okay, so I skipped. Oh, and there's a little fight going on right there. That's actually really cool. Oh, and it uses it like an actual board game style instead of showing a fight. I was expecting it to be more of like a cutscene.
Try walking all the way around the table. See how the tracking is to you, how it feels, how you can see it.
Yeah, I feel like the table's the same. It's a little bit better in here than it was in the other room with the more lights on it. The window's blown out, but the table is a lot better to see. I have the same feeling like with the car and everything, where I don't know how far the table is. I think it's more of the openness around here is my problem, because if I don't look down, then I don't know where my legs are gonna hit, because it's getting kind of cut off with the headset. And that's probably something you get used to, just walking around with this a little bit more.
And so now you're getting to see a little bit of the augmented reality side of this. What do you think about that in relation to as someone who owns an Index and doesn't really get to do that with it?
For this game, I think it would be really good. I like the idea of a board game. A card game would also be really cool to have. I've always loved the idea of it. This is definitely a step forward for that. Yeah, I haven't really played any AR games. I played a little bit with like the Apple AR stuff, but that's not anywhere near this. This is really cool for it to actually know where the table is and be able to draw the entire map onto that surface. Can you play with like multiple people?
So yeah, if I had another headset on right now in this same setup, you would see my fake hands that you see on you. You'd see those where my controllers are, and then it would project a mask onto my face because you're wearing like a hero's mask or something right now.
Yeah, that would be a great experience for playing multiplayer.
So unfortunately, due to time, we didn't get to have you do wireless PCVR, and unfortunately, we just could not get the face and eye tracking to work in Horizon for some reason. So this is gonna be a very high-level overview, first impressions, nothing too in-depth. Overall, what do you think so far?
I like the base stations usually, but this is definitely a step forward for inside-out tracking, and excited to see where they go from there.
So as a Valve Index owner, what would you say was better on this, if anything?
The fact that you don't need the base stations to track it, the comfort of the controllers were a lot better. The side button was the only thing that I had issues with, but I think you get just used to not holding the controller fully for those buttons. The screens did look about the same. I'm sure there's probably better games that will come out that actually show off what it can do more than what we did today.
And I'm sad we didn't get to, because if you'd seen this on PC, it probably would have been a little easier to really be like, ooh, what does Half-Life Alyx look like when I've played it on Index before? You'd really get to see if there was a difference. Yeah. That's something, I haven't had the Index in a long time, so that's hard to speak to myself. For me personally, I found the colors on this headset over pretty much any modern headset really pop. Seems like they're just so much, they're brighter, they're richer, and that's because a lot of headsets like the Index have switched to LCD screens for less latency, faster speed, but of course you lose that depth, where I'm excited for the PSVR 2 going OLED again. We're gonna see more of that bright color. Let's talk about how many things did you find not good, or what was the major things that were not good about it?
The head strap, I don't like the style of head strap. I didn't like it with the PlayStation VR that much. I didn't like it with the Quest 2, and I don't like it with this one. Just a lot of the pressures in the front. Other than that, yeah, I didn't really have any besides the meta thing. I'm not in the meta environment, so most of my games are on Steam. So if I got one more, my experience would be just on PC.
Now, meta aside, put them out of the picture here. Having tried now what we would say is modern, you know, high-end wireless VR, do you think your next headset when you go to replace the Index would be something fully wireless like this? Or do you find that the wire is something that you're okay with and you'd want to stick to that side?
I feel like it would definitely be an area that I would look at, but not necessarily a game-changing or game-breaking option for that. If like Steam had one, or if a third party, I would definitely think about upgrading to it, especially if it takes advantage of the base stations. I've always thought about that. If Meta was more open to having Steam on their platform, that would be hands down switch to Meta. Like, I'd be fine with that. It's just that I started with Steam VR. I don't really want to start over again. PSVR 2 and another Quest comes out, then there'll be a large amount of features that the Index just doesn't have. PSVR 2 actually looks kind of interesting to me, so I might give it that as well.
Well, and it's interesting because a lot of people are saying with PSVR 2, the deal breaker is the cable. But for you, you've said that really isn't an issue for you. I think that's not what the masses are kind of feeling, but for you, if you don't mind there being a cable, then you still have all the options out there.
Quest I would do where it's this good and not $1,500, I believe is what this is.
We'll make sure that there's links to David's channel in the description so you can check him out, see what's going on over there. I think we're gonna have to continue further. We're gonna do some more testing at some point because there's a lot you didn't get to test out today, but I was excited to see that you saw some benefits, but as I said in my initial review, I wouldn't have paid $1,500 for it either. It's just so much money. Vive XR, they just announced, is $1,100, and it's looking like a lot more of like what you're talking about, interested in. It's got diopter adjustment in both eyes, so you wouldn't have to wear glasses in it. You can adjust each one to each eye, so
yeah,
interesting options.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming out and hanging out with us today, and we will see you in another reality.